it's a Lawrence draft and that's it. People around the league really like this kid. Now, look, there's not the same body of work as the Clemson quarterback, but the accuracy is off the charts. He's 6'3" and he has swagger. Whether you like the swagger or not, he is the alpha. He's the Pied Piper, and he would be a hit in New York. Now, nothing against Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold isn't that guy. Sam Darnold is a gentleman. He's all class, and he is tough as nails. And his teammates have and do love Sam Darnold. This is a different personality if you're looking to really sell something as far as the Joe Namath prototype. Wilson might have a little more of that than Darnold. I'll say this as far as what they're doing. It couldn't be going better for the Jets right now because, to your point, the Wilson thing, the stock is through the roof. So now suddenly you might have a bunch of teams trading up. But for Darnold, the list goes even further. I look at the Patriots. Could they be interested in Sam Darnold? I look at the Carolina Panthers. Could they be interested in Sam Darnold? And then, of course, you've got teams like the Washington and Chicago and San Francisco. I mean, this list could be 7, 8, 9, 10 long. So as long as the Zach Wilson buzz is building and building and building, Jets have that in their back pocket. They could always take him, or they could trade back and collect picks, or you can trade Darnold, get a whole boatload of things in either the end of the first round or early second round, and then be able to reset the clock. Because, Colin, if you're a Jets fan, yeah, we like Darnold and everything. Next year, you're in the same predicament that all these teams are in the Mahomes-Watson era, where are we paying him the big contract extension? Because quite honestly, if the Jets go 8-8 and Sam Darnold has a good season, you still have to wonder, are we paying him $30 million next year? If you draft Wilson, you get 4 years at a rookie contract rate. You can reset the clock, and he might have a bigger upside than Darnold, even though Darnold's only 23 years old.
I was surprised this week. I have predicted I think Darnold ends up at Washington. It's just a gut feeling. Not sure if I'm right, but I think he's a tough kid. Rivera likes his quarterbacks to be tough guys, and that feels right to me. Chicago's interesting. So their GM comes out and says everything's on the table, and then there's a story about Nick Foles, and I think timeout. That is such a downer. That to make fans sit with that for 7 months when you're in a division with Aaron Rodgers. To explain the Chicago situation to me, because it was very vague. And I just think they're not that. I think behind the scenes, Chicago's doing something, aren't they?
Let's go back in time a little bit. So Trubisky is not brought back. He's a free agent, right? So let's move him up. Foles is under contract, but they brought back Ryan Pace, the general manager, and a lot of people thought he was on the hot seat. They brought him back, and it almost felt like the McCaskey family was like, all right, Ryan, you got one more year, figure it out. It wasn't said explicitly like that, but that is the feeling around this team. Now, put yourself in Ryan Pace's shoes. You already did once trade up to get Trubisky and draft him before Watson and Mahomes. You already give Nick Foles this big contract. I feel like this is kind of the year that they have to swing big. And something like going back to Foles is not enough. And so as much as we want to look at what makes sense and what is logical, you have to think about this league from a business standpoint too. And if Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are trying to hit a home run, they might sell the farm and then some to get a Watson or a Wilson. And I don't think that's crazy. As much as Watson keeps pushing this thing down and saying, I'm not going to Houston, you might have to give up Roquan Smith. Oh, okay, fine. You might have to also give up Khalil Mack. You might also have to give up every good player on your roster in the next 3 drafts. If that's what it takes to get a quarterback, they might be in a corner right now, Chicago, where anything short of a big splash is a letdown. I mean, Bears fans have been told, we got something up our sleeve. We're going to be aggressive. Like, we've been hearing about it for months. Cam Newton isn't enough, and Alex Smith is not going to really get you out of bed in the morning and say, okay, we did it. I think they've got to go big, and anything short of Watson, Wilson, or a trade for another big starting quarterback, I don't know if it's going to be viewed as a failure, whether or not it works or not, just because of the expectation that the Bears have to go hard or go home in this one.
Well, it's funny about this, Schrager. We know Jacksonville is going to draft a quarterback, and I think we know Carolina would like to. Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is no guarantee. This is where the Patriots could get a break because they draft 15th, and the sense is they're not going to get one of the top 4 guys. But I was thinking about this morning. Atlanta could be the key to this. If I run Atlanta, Matt Ryan's only 35. He's never been hurt. Arthur Smith comes in. He gets a really smart offensive coach. It's very realistic to think Matt's going to have a couple good years here.
Sure.
He's owed a fortune. You can't move off him. If Atlanta decides, listen, we're going to stay. We're not replacing Matt Ryan. Okay, then all of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence may be gone, Zach Wilson gone, but you may be just battling, if Houston gets Deshaun to stay, Carolina for the third quarterback. And so I was just thinking about this morning. I wouldn't move off Matt Ryan if I was Atlanta. There's a story that New England's into all these college guys. Your gut this morning, Cam, Mariota, or a college guy with New England?
Or option D. Belichick's not getting any younger. This team is a veteran team. You're talking about bringing back Dante Hightower and the McCourty brothers. Is there another option? Like Cam Newton in a bridged off season was serviceable, looked injured, wants to get another shot at this. They actually really liked him in New England. I just don't see them necessarily having him as option one. Do you go trade back for Garoppolo? Do you call the Jets, who are a hated rival, and say, what's it going to cost for Darnold? To go to a rookie at this stage in Belichick's career with this roster, which is not full of young budding talent, it seems like a long-term move when this team still probably feels like their window could be now. I'd be really surprised if the Patriots didn't make some sort of move and get a quarterback. And is it Mariota? Maybe. Does that do much for you? I don't know. But I got to think that the Patriots have something up their sleeves. They did last year, and that ended up being Cam Newton, but for a really discounted price, and that's what they got. I feel like now they've had a full experience with another quarterback other than Brady. Are they going to be the ones who swing big? Are they going to be the ones who make a big move? I just would be shocked if we end up on week one and it's like Mac Jones, Alabama quarterback, or Trey Lance, week one for the Patriots, and then Belichick starting from scratch again. It just doesn't seem in line with what their roster is or with what the Patriots have been building towards the last few years.
That's good stuff, Schrager. I think it's Cam, and you may have just talked me out of it. Peter Schrager, best-selling New York Times book, by the way, Out of the Blue on the Giants. Good seeing you, buddy.
You sound great. You look great. I'm so happy to have you 100%, Colin.
Thanks, Schrager. Appreciate it, buddy. It is really rare. You have some really good franchises, the Saints and New England. You just don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. And San Francisco doesn't like theirs. Very rare. Usually the good teams have the quarterback thing figured out. It's the bad teams that don't. This year, it looks like the bad teams kind of going to get stuff solved, and it's going to be the good teams that are going to have to make a big move. Speaking of that, Mike Lombardi, very respected former NFL general manager, good friend of Belichick, had a thought yesterday on the 49ers and Garoppolo. It's fascinating. I want to talk about that coming up. Any credit card can offer cash back, but Discover is different. Only a Discover card matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. They do it automatically, and there's never a limit. Discover is accepted at 99% of the places that accept credit cards. Okay? Cashback match.